welcome on in. This is episode number 5 of Fae Fam Talks. Today we are with Battleline Strawberry, and we are going to be talking all sorts of things about content creation, Twitch, and mental health, which is our guest topic of the day. I'm GlamourFaerie, and I am a content creator, and most of my content is here on Twitch. I like to talk to content creators about their journeys, gaming news, and a topic of their choice. And I believe with Battleline, I came across her. I'm not 100%. I'm like 80% sure that it was like through Shiny. I think it was through Shiny Wave where we like did a raid or something into your stream, or you raided into her stream. I'm
Something
not.
like that.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure, but I've feel like both of us have been in each other's communities like for a while now. Just kind of, vibing. I always like going into your streams and like when you're playing Stardew Valley, you were playing Journey of the Prairie King like a month ago and you were trying to beat it. And I was just like so satisfying to watch you just try to like try to finish it, and it was just so much fun.
I did. I don't know if you saw me
I
finish
think
it.
you did, and like I
I
think on
did.
that one you finished it, and it was just like, oh my god, it was just perfect. It was so much fun, and I loved
Yeah.
vibing in there. But would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody else?
Sure. I was gonna say no. Um, so hi everybody. Um, yeah, I was addicted to Journey of the Prairie King for a little bit, but my name is Ashlyn or Battleline Strawberry, Batty, Strawberry, any of those doesn't really matter to me. I am a content creator here on Twitch, as well as I started making content on YouTube a couple months ago. I'm hoping to get that up and going. A little bit about me. I am a crafter. I love video games, of course. That's why we're all here, right? I really like cozy games. I like games that you can chill and kind of turn your brain off because when I'm not playing games, I am a full time grad student in a counseling and clinical mental health master's program. So when I'm not slamming my head with textbooks, I like to turn my brain off and play Journey to the Prairie King for like 6 hours. So that's, and I craft too. I'll add that.
Yes, I love seeing any of the new stuff that you post. You did post like the little catnip bongs.
Mm-hmm.
Those were amazing, and I thought they were so cute. I'm like, oh my god, I think I need this for my mom so that she could have it for her cat.
I
Oh my
just made this pumpkin
god, oh my god, it's so cute, the
like
little
yesterday. It's
pumpkin.
full of catnip. They are going nuts over it.
I love it so
But
much. Oh my god. But with that being said, you were saying that you're mainly on Twitch. How did you start, or where did you start with Twitch? Like, did you like find somebody and come on here, or?
I always knew that I wanted to do something with streaming or creating content. And I'm kind of a perfectionist. So when I tried to do YouTube in the past, and like no matter what I did, I never liked the video at the end because I was like, oh, I could have said this, I could have done this. Um, and I much prefer streaming because it's not as edited and it's very just kind of we go and we flow and we vibe. It's not as specific with all those analytics and everything. And I started back in July. It was my birthday month of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we started kind of around the same time. That makes sense then. Yeah, I was pretty sure that we found each other around that time, around the beginning of you streaming, because I started in May of 2019. Uh,
Okay.
so I probably was hanging out in Shiny stream at some point, and then either you rated her or we rated you. Um, and starting with Twitch, like, how did you find Twitch initially? Because I found Twitch through YouTube.
So I think I just heard about it from someone. I honestly don't remember. I think it was so my partner now, Jake, worked at GameStop and
Mm-hmm.
we were friends for a while before we dated. And he would just share that, like, oh yeah, a friend of his streams on Twitch and like you should check it out. Um, and I kind of just had heard about it. I've seen a lot of VODs posted from Twitch to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I was familiar with the platform. And I just kind of like I started on my little old, I forget what year it is, like my old MacBook
Yeah.
Air laptop, which does not support Twitch in any sense of the word.
No.
Like in my childhood bedroom at home.
I
Yeah.
love that. Um, so you started with Twitch, or you said you started with YouTube and then you didn't like anything that you were doing, but now you are doing YouTube.
Yes, so I deleted all of that content. You can't find it. Thank goodness. But I started with YouTube again. Honestly, like shout out to Shiny because she's killing it and like I really enjoy her content. Same with one of my mods, Sam. And I like the difference of
Mm-hmm.
content you can make between Twitch and YouTube because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with Twitch, there can be so much good content there, but like once the stream is over, it's kind of gone
Yeah.
unless somebody clipped it or unless somebody is going back to watch it. Like I don't see anyone watching a 6-hour stream of mine to get this like one golden nugget in the center.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to edit streams and put them on YouTube, but I also like to do I want to branch out into some more like lifestyle stuff
Mm-hmm.
that maybe would do better on there than here.
That makes sense.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I've had some issues before with some of the things that I like doing because like as as you are, I am also a crafter, and I've
Yep.
done some crafting streams before, and sometimes they do really well, and sometimes they don't do so well. It just really depends. I don't see them as doing well because of like the chat isn't interacting as much, but it's because my chat is also doing the same thing.
Right, you're
So like
crafting together.
we're all like vibing and crafting at the same time, listening to chill hop or whatever I'm listening to at the time. And we're all
Hmm.
just vibing. And then I'm like, oh, that was actually a good stream. And I
It
just,
was just
it was
quieter.
just quieter than I'm used to. And I'm not used to it being as quiet as it was in the crafting streams.
Hmm.
Sorry.
It's
So,
okay.
so what or who inspires you to stream?
Um, that's a really good question. I would say like starting out, it was very much just something I knew I wanted to do. Um, and then I think nowadays, and this is going to sound so cliche, and I know it is, but because and we'll get into this later, I assume, with like the mental health stuff, but
For sure.
like there are days that I don't want to stream, and there are days that I'm like, oh, is it even worth it? Is it, am I wasting my, like, you get the imposter syndrome
For sure.
feelings. And like, obviously, on the days that I really don't want to, I take a break. But I think I just come back to that core group of people and they
Mm-hmm.
know who they are. I'm not going to sit here and name names.
Mm-hmm.
The people that come regularly and like the people who I started growing really close friendships with and people I know that do want to spend time with me. So it's really the people who watch for a
Mm-hmm.
big part of it. And then it's my friends like, you and Shiny and Banana and everybody else who I also like get inspired by, I guess you could say.
Yes. I feel that because like it really is, especially in the first like I don't know, the first like year that you're streaming, you really get to vibe with these people that like you didn't think that you were going to vibe with. Like you just they're just a
Yeah.
username when they first come in, but at the same time this person's coming into your chat and they're vibing and you're like, what is happening? Like somebody's actually in here hanging
You're
out with
watching me
me,
just
like
sit here?
you're watching me like play this game that I'm absolutely horrible at, and
Yeah.
like you're still hanging out. Like what is this?
Exactly. It's so crazy to be still. Like I did a couple, I'm not sure yet if I'm still going to do them, but like I did a couple study streams because a couple people in my community like stick out that are also in the academic world and
Hmm.
I'm like, yo, I need to motivate myself to study regularly. Do you guys want to come on? We can listen to music and like we'll take breaks together.
Hmm.
And it was similar to what you were saying with crafting. And I'm like, even if there's only three people there. That's still three people that decided I would rather watch Battlein than not.
Right. Right.
So,
And I've done something kind of I've been doing a little bit of different things on my days off. First of all, I used to not take days off. I used to just like would do 6 to 7 days of streaming a week, and I would just keep going. I would stream between 3 to 4 to 6 or 8 hours after
mm-hmm.
work. Like I would work for 8 hours, come home, and I would immediately go into streaming, and I would just go forever. And it was just because I was having so much fun, because I wanted to play video
Yeah.
games and I wanted to hang out with these people. And then I realized I was starting to burn myself out, and I had to stop. I had to cut back on it. And so now I stream only 4 to 5 days a week. This week is a 5 day week, but usually recently it's more 4 days. And during the 3 days that I have off, I have specific things that I do. So like Sundays are my husband's day, and where we have kind of like a date night.
Cute.
And I also play, like, I go to work and then I come home and I do a few things with like YouTube and stuff, and then I hang out with my husband, and then I go to bed, and then it's just that, because my husband has to stay up all night for his graveyard shift. And then
Right.
Mondays are my mom's day, and I hang out with my mom after work. And then on Thursdays, it's in between the two sections of streaming that I have. And in between those days, I usually just kind of have that as my complete relaxed day, because that's also my day off from work.
Right. So you need to have like that full day where you do nothing.
Yeah, I have a full day
Yeah.
where I can just absolutely do nothing. So it's really nice to actually have those days off, and I already forgot where I was going with that.
I think you're talking about burning out and like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I was
Surprisingly, I remembered, which is rare. But that's fine.
I usually don't go off on a tangent on something like this, but like with scheduling, it's something that's different for everybody. Everybody has something different, and I think it's funny because like I was saying, 7 days a week streaming is fun to think about,
Yes.
but then when you actually do it, you burn yourself out so damn hard. It's not fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. Like, so I don't work right now like a conventional job.
Mm-hmm.
I was working right when the pandemic broke out.
Right.
I was working in a senior living facility, which was probably the worst place to be during that. And I ended up quitting just because they weren't, taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's hard right now. Like in my area, I live in I can curse, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I live in Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania. And like the only thing around here is senior living communities and gas stations and retail.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I've just been doing school and like commissions here and there, like I crochet, so I make stuff. But I know what you mean. Like I went from because I moved out recently. So when I lived at home, I wasn't really able to have a schedule because of not a great home environment, we'll just say.
Mm-hmm.
And my schedule would change. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to stream. Sometimes I'd have to cancel. So like as soon as I moved out, I was like, this is it. We're going to do 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it like 6 to 8 hours a day while Jake's at work because he works full time. And yeah, you're completely right. Like it burned me out, and I'm doing school as well. So right now my schedule is opposite of school. So like I have class at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
So those days I don't do anything content related.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise my brain is already dead during a stream, let alone then going to class until 10 at night. Like it's just not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to like really like evaluate where your schedule is at with those different things. Otherwise, you, like we said, you burn yourself out, and then it's no fun, and then you start wondering, is this worth it for my mental health, for me, for like the numbers that I'm having? Like, is it actually worth any of it? Because in reality, it's not. You just need to like relax and take a breather.
Yeah. And I think like the first, if I could say to anybody, like the first warning sign is like as soon as you stop having fun consistently, reevaluate like what's going on,
For
because
sure.
I go through times, oh my gosh, where nothing is fun, and then I'm
Hmm.
like, I might be burned out, or it could be depression. We never
Yeah.
really know. It could be
That's
both. It could be
such a
anxiety.
mood.
Like, I was having anxiety before this, and I was like, is it normal nerves, or is this like disorder, or is this low blood sugar?
Was it that Among Us game that we were
It
just
was it the Among
playing?
Us game? I'm not sure.
It's just a lot of things that you have to kind of think about with all the different things. Like you said, with it, is it depression? Because that was something that I had to figure out too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, trying to figure out, was I being burnt out or was I just having depression? Because it just kind of bounces on you, and you sometimes you just really have no idea where
Well,
it came
right.
from, why it came from, and it just hits you.
Exactly. And it's that fine line of like, sometimes streaming makes me feel better
Mm-hmm.
because it's with people that I love and people I care about and my friends, but then sometimes it's not. So like, it really just, you have to listen to yourself and
Mm-hmm.
like be okay with streaming for 20 minutes and then saying, you know what? Like, I've done it because I get panic attacks sometimes, and I got
Mm-hmm.
a panic attack like 15 minutes in, and I was like, I gotta go. I'll see you in an hour
Oh
if I
no.
can. And they understand because it's, you know, it's all about like, they're there to support us. So
Yeah.
like, our health is important.
It's
I
the
don't like the
community that we
whole
bring in. Yeah.
I don't like the whole like grinding just for the money
Oh,
thing that I think a lot of people do
oh
right
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah. And I was considering doing that at one point, and then I just realized that if I'm having fun and enjoying myself, then more likely more people will show up and hang out with me, and I can get it that way,
Exactly.
and I don't need to be grinding for it and get in like really focused or anything. Um and I've been seeing quite a change in the last month for myself, seeing like
Yay.
people, more people wanting to come in, and I feel like I'm being more inviting because I stopped realizing that fine line between grinding for a full-time position as a content creator
Yep.
and just having fun and enjoying the company that you have,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. um
Absolutely.
so with, you said that you're starting to do more YouTube stuff. What are your future plans with content creation?
Oh, does anybody know the answer to that? I mean, I definitely I like doing let's plays. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do more, I guess. I'm not I guess like lifestyle content,
Mm-hmm.
because like, looking forward, I'm going to be graduating in about 2 years from now, and then possibly going on to my doctorate, maybe waiting a few years. I just want to be Dr. Gamer, and that's it. But I want to kind of just have content that's related to the positives of video games, because
Mm-hmm.
I think that for a really long time now, the societal understanding of video games has been violence and don't give it to kids and it damages their brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here like, I don't play any games that have violence. Okay, I play GTA a little, but like, I play Zelda, I play Celeste, I play games that are puzzles, they're working my brain, they're fast reaction time. Like, I like the positives of that.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I want to do in my academic life is I want to do studies on the benefits of video games with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like, specifically talking about Celeste, which is my favorite game. I have a tattoo of it, it's my username.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just like having that open conversation, and I guess more like with the mental health focus, but with gaming, because then it makes it a little bit more accessible to everyone.
That's really cool because, like, that's something that, like you said, it's something that has been not brought to light as much because
Yeah.
us on like Twitch as a platform, a lot of us are like mental health with video games is like amazing.
Yes.
We're doing great with this. But outside of Twitch and outside of
Mm-hmm.
YouTube gaming and all that, there's people that are still saying that video games are violence, and we're like, have you seen Animal Crossing?
Well, right. Like, don't get me wrong. There are some that I
Yeah.
see, 8
Oh
year
yeah,
old
for
kids
sure.
playing mature games, but there's so much. It's like with music. There's so much more than just Kim by Eminem. which song I listen to, I'm not going to lie to you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's just, and I think it puts a really bad rap on it. And it's funny because during my grad school interviews, my advisor, who I now work with closely, was like, I like your chair. Do you play games? And I was like, I don't know the right answer to this question because I don't want it to I don't want it to impact me getting in. And he's like, no, I love video games. And we actually bonded on it. But people don't talk about it, and it's a shame, especially in today's world where most people aren't able to go outside and play with their friends and do what they normally do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you could have socialization at home safely through video games.
Right. And
So,
it's so much more fun that way, I think.
yeah, less sweaty. You can
Yeah.
play football on a game. I'm not going outside,
I
come
know,
on.
right? Ugh, gross. Outside.
That's why I'm pale, for a reason.
Okay, so we're gonna switch on over to the gaming news section. I
Okay.
have just very little stuff. It's pretty much stuff that I feel like you and I have more information with. So
I hope so.
first of all, today is the 10-year anniversary for the 3DS being released in the US, and I just
Wow.
read this, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, I'm old. Oh my god.
Where I'm like, wait a minute, 10 years that the 3DS has been out. And that's just the 3DS. That's not, the generations before with the DS, DSi, DS Lite. Those came out before. This is just the 3DS. And I'm like, I got a 3DS like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I
I'm just
think.
taking mine out so you can see it because I
Oh
have
my
the
god, you
Animal
have the
Crossing
Animal
one.
Crossing one. Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
It's in
Yes.
Japanese because I didn't know they had a European one. So I
Oh.
have to use my phone to translate it when I play, but that's fine.
Oh my god, I love that. Um, but yeah, today's the anniversary, and I thought that was pretty neat. I had to write that in my notes today because I was like, damn, 10 years.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
like I said, that's just the 3DS. And I'm just thinking about like the regular DS and seeing that and getting one when I was a kid with my dad bought us all DS lights. And when I
Hmm.
say all, I mean like himself, my mom, and both of my and like my sister and I both got one. So all four of us had the games, and we all played different games. So it was completely different for all of us.
Yeah. That's great. I'm like thinking back now. I had the original DS,
Hmm.
the light blue, the really chunky one.
Yeah.
And I used to go to like before and after care at school, and we all used to sit in the Picto chat and like talk shit about the other kids in the room because they couldn't see it,
Because
which
they
was
couldn't see
elementary school kids. That's what we did.
it.
Um, oh my God, that's crazy. Because I'm like thinking that was probably the first, I think that the DS was the first like console I ever had. I had a
Hmm.
Game Boy Advanced, and I think I had it for like a month. My parents didn't like video games, so
Hmm.
like I didn't. My grandma would buy me the games, and like every couple weeks we'd go to the GameStop in my town. And so I think I had like one game on my Game Boy. I don't really count it. I was too young, but yeah, I had Animal Crossing Wild World was like the first game I ever played.
Yes, that was one of my first games on the DS because my family is a gaming family, as you can
Mhm.
tell with
Of
4DS lights in a household. We spent most of our
course.
money on video games and stuff like that to bond with each other rather than going on like vacations or something like
I
that.
love that. Can we switch?
Vacations were horrible with my family. We just it was not fun. So I mean, at least I think it wasn't fun. I got bored very easily, or my sister and I would start fighting, and it was just not fun. So having the video games was a lot nicer to have. And
Absolutely.
my mom, on the other hand, doesn't really think that. She always
That's
looked at it
fine.
like she wanted the vacations and not the video games because she only liked playing Zelda and now Animal Crossing. Um,
Oh, cute.
but uh she didn't like the all of us hanging out with all the it was just too much. And I understand that. I see both sides of it to me. So
Yeah. It can be
no,
a lot.
it can. um so was that, what's today? Saturday? Yeah. So yesterday
Yes.
with the whole Sanrio cards and Target, we have to talk about that just a little bit even. Um it was an interesting situation. For those that
Yeah.
don't know, Animal Crossing and Sanrio had a collaboration, came out with the Animal Crossing amiibo cards for Sanrio characters. They did this for New Leaf, and then they brought them back for New Horizons. And when they
Right.
brought them back, they did it with Target. Target was going to be uh, launching them, and they did horribly with everything.
Horribly.
Like, I don't know if they just didn't understand like the amount of people that were going to come into their site or what, because it took us 45 minutes to actually get a set, and then there was
You
people that
got
were
them.
still going. Yeah, and yeah, we got them. My husband was pushing that button, and I was at work at 6 o'clock in the morning pushing my button on my phone, and it wasn't working for me, but it worked for him. He got one, and yeah, it was a little insane. It was a little much, and then there was people that were walking in and able to just say, "Hey, do you have any cards?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, here you go."
Yeah, it amazes me still at this level of like 2021 where so many stores have done years now of limited release pre-order items and
Hmm.
they still can't handle it. Like it makes me so angry. So I tried to get them. Again, I live in, rural Pennsylvania, so I didn't really think it would be that hard in my area to get
Hmm.
them. They didn't even show up on the app or the website. Like it didn't exist
Oh
at my
my
store.
god.
Um I I there is a special place. I don't believe in hell, but if I did, there's a special place down there for scalpers. I
Yeah.
have so much anger in my heart towards those people, and it takes a
Hmm.
lot to get me that angry. Um, but then also, like, one thing that drives me crazy, and I'm not sure if it's like being talked about, and I don't want to like put the ableist label on it,
Hmm.
but there are people, myself included, who cannot go to stores for
Hmm.
whatever reason. My reasons are different, but like if somebody can't drive
Hmm.
and the only way that they could participate in something that's limited release is order and delivery, you're cutting out a complete group of people.
Right.
You're cutting out kids,
Hmm.
you're cutting out anyone who doesn't have a ride or a
Hmm.
transportation. You're cutting out me with an anxiety disorder. I can't step foot in a Target. I get overstimulated and I panic. Um, I just don't understand. Like they said they were going to put a limit on how many people could buy, but then I saw people selling like 10, 15 packs.
Yeah, people were grabbing 10 or 15 packs.
Yeah. So it's like you should have they should have done it better. They should have done it through a pre-order, like for a week ahead of time, like here's how many we have, everyone sign up for the pre-order. If you get on,
Hmm.
you get them. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
Because it's not.
It
No,
should
it
have
makes
been
me
put
so
as like a queue or something, and they should have made it more known for the Target employees that they're not supposed to be
just give them
giving
out.
them out. Like some of them just have no idea. They're like, "Oh, is this for a game?" Like there's us who are like huge Animal Crossing fans who are like, "Yeah, we need them. We have to
I'm
have
so
them." And then
excited.
there's the people that like have no just don't know anything about it, and just
They just
so
want to make a quick buck.
they're like, "Oh yeah, 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 here." And it's like, I don't think you understand that you just gave me something that's now worth, how much are they worth now? Like
Oh, some of them are, it's anywhere from like I've seen it at $40 is the lowest up to like 200.
yeah, it's absolutely
And
insane.
it's listen, and I'm gonna say this on the DL, as DL as this is. I have an amiibo card coin writer.
Oh yeah.
So like if anyone wants items at any point,
Right.
just send me a message. I got you. I can
Right.
get you a villager. You just got to give me time to get them out.
Mhm. The only
But
thing with Sanrio characters is that you can't move them onto somebody else's island.
you can't move them from yours.
Mm-mm. Nope.
All right, well I can get you the items then.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I was like, I'll just give everybody the
The
items, and
items.
that's what I did yesterday. I started giving a bunch of like full sets of items to people,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start doing them a little bit more often. I also got, because I have two sets of cards, so the second set of cards I'm gonna be giving those away individually as
Oh,
well,
lovely.
because I don't need the
Two
all
sets.
sets of them. No, and the only thing with the current set that is mine, I only need a 12 because I can't find the chip that I have because I got the chips uh of the
Oh,
characters. So I don't really need my cards either. So I have plenty of cards that I can give out to people, or even the
exactly.
chips. I don't I want to let other people have them because you know,
We
I don't
don't,
need them. I
yeah.
don't need them all.
And you know what? Like, here's how we stick it to the scalpers
Mhm.
and also support small businesses. Go on Etsy. There
Mhm.
are thousands of people who make. I saw embroidery hoops this morning that had the chips in them.
Oh my god,
So
that's
you could have a
amazing.
beautiful piece of art that you could also hold your Switch up to, and it works as an amiibo card.
I
So,
love
like,
that.
don't buy them from them. Buy
Yeah.
them from Etsy.
Don't buy the
And
actual card. The actual cards, like, it literally
yeah,
looks like the ones that they had for New Leaf, and I
they're
feel
the
like they
same,
could
I
have done.
think.
They pretty much are. They're not the exact same. Part of it is kind of out of it, but because the ones for New Leaf had on here, New Leaf on the back.
Okay.
This one doesn't. It just says Sanrio collaboration pack. It's also has the date of 20. It has the 2021 on it as well. So,
Okay.
it's
It's a
just
little
it's essentially the same. I think it's the artwork that's the same. Everything else is kind of different. But it's been. I feel like they could have done a lot better with
yes.
everything.
I think so. It's the same stuff that's going on with like people trying to get PlayStations. It's like they should just make a queue and you
Mhm.
just sign up and as they become available, like you
Mhm.
get it.
For sure.
Cause yeah, it's a dumpster fire. I didn't even know they were getting released, honestly, until I opened Twitter and I was like, oh wow, everyone's really upset.
I only know them because I'm
Oof.
a really big Sanrio fan.
Oh, me too. I love Cinnamoroll. I have one. He's like this big. It was
Mhm.
a Christmas present, and
Oh,
he's the biggest puppy I've ever seen in my whole life.
yes. Yeah, I have a big Hello Kitty collection that I've had since I was like 5. So, um it's one of the things that I've collected throughout the years, and I still
Yeah.
once in a while collect things from it, but um the first time I heard of the Sanrio characters for New Leaf, I needed them, but I couldn't afford them because I don't know, I was just getting out of high school, I think, when they came available, and so I wasn't able to purchase them. I didn't have a job, and I was kind of going to college, and I say kind
Right.
of because I quit. So it was just one of those things that I wasn't able to get them then, but now that I'm older and I have the capability to get them, I was able to get them,
Well,
um
good.
and now I want to help other people get some of it.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, look, I don't have the cards, but I can get you the stuff. Just like tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you.
Right? And there's so many good
I don't mind.
things.
I
Um
know. It's so good.
the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the Story of Seasons game that just came out, Pioneers of Olive Town, or as Banana likes to call it, Poot. Literally one of my favorite things ever. But that just came out. I just bought the game yesterday, and I haven't played it yet, but everybody's enjoying it. Have you
Yes.
seen any gameplay of it?
I have seen gameplay of it a little bit. I haven't purchased it yet. I'm on the fence about it, to be completely honest, because
Mm-hmm.
I bought the last one that came out, which
Friends of Mineral
was
Town.
yes,
So that one was the remake of the one that they had originally for
right,
the whatever console it was that I can't
GameCube.
remember. I think so.
It might have been, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was cute, but I'm not in a rush to get it. And it's not because I don't love Harvest Moon, because I really do. It's that I just have that nostalgia factor with Harvest Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I want to play Harvest Moon, I want to play the ones that make me nostalgic.
Makes
When I want to
sense.
play newer ones, I'd rather play Littlewood or Stardew Valley
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, Animal Crossing.
Yeah. For sure. And that makes sense. I never really played Harvest Moon as a kid, so I didn't. we didn't play anything like that. We played Zelda and Mario.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that we ever knew. So, and then I got into Animal Crossing with Wild World, and my mom got into Animal Crossing with City Folk, and then she
Hmm.
never even heard of New Leaf. She didn't even know what it was. And I'm scared to
So
even
good.
show it to her at this point because I'm seeing what she's doing with New Horizons, and I'm like, don't even want to know what you would do with New Leaf right now.
I love New Leaf was by far, and I still think it's my favorite Animal Crossing
Yes.
game.
New Horizons is mine just because New Leaf was in a very weird position in my lifetime,
Yeah.
and I feel very nostalgic more with City Folk than I do with Wild World because my mom played it for hours on end, and I would literally sit behind her just watching her fish for
Oh,
six
so good.
6 hours. I swear.
Yep.
One day I was just sick, and my mom was literally in the middle of the living room
Ooh.
playing Animal Crossing, fishing, and I was just watching her for 6 hours. I mean, although the way that she literally was just fishing.
That's
Nothing.
it.
That was it. No, nothing else. And when that was happening, I didn't realize it. But as I got older, I realized the reason why she was fishing for 6 goddamn hours was because she was probably stoned out of her mind.
Oh, amazing.
And I was just like, now that I look back on it, I'm just laughing at it because I'm like, I was sick, and I was, when you're sick, you're almost like you're stoned.
Oh yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
we were both just chilling there, pretty much high as fuck, and watching her fish for 6 hours. But yeah, I don't have that nostalgic factor with Harvest Moon. So it's different for me, and it'll be a completely new game, like completely for me.
Yes.
So I feel
Yeah.
like I have a different perspective on it than a lot of people do.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I wasn't like super stoked for it to come out. I
Mm-hmm.
might get it, but I also am looking at that backlog that's like
I know.
16 pages. And then I just started wanting to get into anime, so now I have a list of like 5 pages of that to do.
Oh God.
And I just
I
it's
feel that
too
so
much
much.
farming. I
Yeah.
need a break from farming. It's all I do, and I love it, but it's all I do.
I know. I need to start working on games that like actually have an ending. Is what I said. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm like, I need to finish Breath of the Wild. Still, it's been out for how many years now, and
I
I
just
still haven't
started it
finished
today
it.
for the first time.
Did you really? I'm
Yes.
almost done. I literally just have to defeat Ganon at this point. I'm so close to
Oh
finishing it.
wow. I'm almost done Link's Awakening. I left the last dungeon because I have a viewer who wants to watch me do it, so I'm waiting
Ah,
until they're available. But
yes.
yeah, games with an ending. We need those sometimes because I'm so used to like Fire Emblem
Mhm.
with like its 50-hour playthrough of each house, and there's four, and then they have DLC, and then or like Persona.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, you're killing me.
I know. I want to play all the Zelda games because I never actually finished them. So
Yeah.
I want to finish Breath of the Wild, and then I want to go back and I want to play. I want to actually finish Ocarina of Time because I've never gone past the Water Temple. I want
Okay.
to play Wind Waker because I've never passed uh after getting the boat. I've never finished it after that.
Okay.
Um, and it's usually like within the first like few hours of you playing the game, and it's because
Right.
my attention span as a kid was just like non-existent. Like I could read, I could lay there on my bed and read for
Hours.
hours on end, but you put me in front of a
Yes.
video game that I have to figure out and puzzle, like no, I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm out.
Yep. That's like so I let me say I with Breath of the Wild, which is a great example of it, like I owned it when I first got my Switch. I played it for 2 hours maybe, and then my boyfriend at the time was like, "Can I borrow this?" and then kept it. So I never got it back. But I kept his GameCube, so I feel like we're squared away. Um and I feel like there's such a difference between playing on stream and by yourself
Hmm.
because like obviously I don't want backseating, but it's so helpful because my frustration tolerance sometimes, especially like I have ADHD,
Hmm.
so my focus is already barely there. unless I'm like really hyper focused into it. So having people there where I could say, all right, listen, I literally don't know where I'm going. Can you just give me a hint? And that's
Mm-hmm.
so helpful. Like that's the only reason I've gotten Link's Awakening almost finished. I've played that like 6 times and I always got bored. But
Yeah.
now I'm like, no, I want to finish it. These puzzles are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think a lot of it, for me at least, has to do with I don't like games that are so open and like figure out what you're supposed to do. No, I want you to tell me, here are your lists of your tasks. Go do them, come back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need that. I need that structure. And like a little bit of wandering is cool. Like Animal Crossing doesn't really have that structure, but there are like set things. Versus I was playing Zelda and I'm trying to find the first couple temples to get the parasol.
Oh God, yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, it says it's cold up there. I don't know how to get up there and I don't have any clothes. So I guess I'm done for the day
That was me.
because I don't know what I'm doing. Or I go the other side and I'm lighting on fire because it's too hot
Yep.
and I can't figure it out. And then I just feel dumb and then I quit. And I'm like, no, I'm actually good at these games once I get there. It just takes me a bit
It
to
just takes me a
figure it
bit.
out.
I
Yeah.
get so frustrated. I'm like, I'm the dumbest person in the entire world because I can't
Yeah.
figure out this stupid thing. The amount of times that I look um into how to finish something in Zelda is way too
Oh my
many,
God.
honestly.
Yeah.
My mom said that she will not play any Zelda game unless she has the cheat book. Like we still have the magazine
Really?
cheat books for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. We still have
Yep.
those. And now she's, with Breath of the Wild, she's got the big thick book, and now she's also
Yep.
got that big thick book as well as the expanded collection one. So like it's one of those things, like sometimes I have the cheat book as well, and I still will look through it once in a while. If somebody in my chat doesn't know how to do something, I'll look through the book, or I'll look on YouTube real quick to figure it out, because
Right.
I'm like, I'm irritated, and if I don't pass this, I will probably not come back to this game, which is what I did with the Yiga
Yeah.
clan, because I could not figure out how to get past
Oh.
anything, and I kept getting caught, and I was like, I'm pissed. And then I didn't play it for 6 months. I come back
Mm-hmm.
to it and got it first time through.
Exactly.
I was
Sometimes
like,
you just and gosh, it's what's frustrating with me, and I recognize this in myself, is I get very easily frustrated, but I also need to figure it out myself.
mm-hmm.
So like someone in chat recently, have you played through Fire Emblem Three Houses?
I haven't even touched those. I've seen some gameplay of them though.
Glamour. It is, let me just say, first game I ever played in like pretty much start to finish in several days with no breaks. Like I slept and that was it. Um, I've never in my life felt romantically in love with a character before that game.
Mm-hmm.
Claude and all of the women will always be in my heart. But what's funny with that game is somebody challenged me to play it on Maddening, which is the hardest level, and I still can't get past the first battle in the game. And I could probably look it up or read techniques on how to do it. But then I feel like I didn't do it myself. So I just get stuck in this like weird little circle of being really irritated, but then also I need to figure this out. Eventually it'll come to me. Same with Prairie King.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could have looked up how to do it or like techniques or something, but I just can't. I have to do it myself.
It's kind of with Hollow Knight. I started playing Hollow Knight in October of 2019, and I could not get past the first battle, and I refused to open up the game and try to figure it out again, because I do not know how to or will not want to, because I'm just really bad at those types of games. I'm so bad at them.
Yeah. I've tried, because it's Jake's favorite game. He has like 6 Hollow Knight tattoos. And I get about halfway through it, but then it's the same thing as the open world, where I'm like, you're not telling me where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I get lost.
It's
and
so
then I
easy
die,
to get
and then I
lost
lose
in
all
those
my
things.
money.
Yeah, because you lose all of it.
All of it. And then you have to
It's
go back
all gone, and then you have to find your body and then go ahead and suck it all up again. And I'm like, nope, I'm done with this game. It's not happening. I'm out.
I love the grubs though. I love them.
They're all
little caterpillars. characters.
Yes, they're all cute. I love the style of the game. I love the soundtrack. The whole game of Hollow Knight is so good. And I've even seen I've seen the gameplay of it. I've seen other people play it. Not my I'm terrible at that
Yeah.
game. But seeing other people play the game is just it's so gorgeous and fun and that's why I wanted to play it. And then I got to the first battle and I was like
No.
rage quit, done. I closed the game. I'm like, nope, done, out of here, gone.
And it's hard too because there are some enemies in there that you can't even kill in the beginning, but they're right at the beginning, so you have to just go around them until you get the right power. And I'm like, why? Why not just give me a platformer like Celeste? Beginning and end. Point A to point B.
Point A to point
Done.
B. Yep.
Hard game, but point A to point B nonetheless.
Much easier. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't get lost in Celeste too much.
Okay.
Can't.
Let's switch on over to our guest topic, which is mental health.
Yeehaw.
So, so first question, of course, is why did you choose this topic?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I go to school for clinical mental health counseling. I'm working on my master's right now. I have a bachelor's degree in music therapy. I am a board certified music therapist, which is fun to say sometimes. People don't know what that means most of the time, but that's okay. And I just, ever since I was young, I've had a lot of struggles myself with my own mental health, with treatment, I have several diagnoses. I'm an open book. I'm very open about what I deal with because I feel that it's really important that if we want to remove the stigma associated with mental health, we need to start having open conversations if we're comfortable doing so. I'm not going to ask anyone who isn't comfortable to be like, hey, tell me what traumatized you when you were young. You don't have to do that. But I think that we're having really good conversations within the mental health sphere, but it's not joining the other spheres of the world. So it's not joining the workplace conversation as much. It's not it's in our social circles a little, but I wanted to bring it, which I know, you were saying earlier on Twitch, especially, there's a really big conversation with mental health. So I really, really want to help people realize that, number one, having a diagnosis is not a death sentence. I am someone who has many of them. I could probably if I put all of them next to my name, it would just be I'd need 6 pieces of paper. But recognizing that it doesn't have to define you as a person. And also I just want to be somebody that if someone watches my channel and I have PTSD, it's a diagnosed disability from the federal government. I have a marijuana card for it. It's a very big debilitating issue for me sometimes. And I want people to see that you can still be successful, because I think that there's this really big stigma against specifically with the homeless population, where people are oh, you're lazy, or you just need to get your shit together and figure it out. You're not going to amount to I was told in my undergrad that I would never be a therapist because I had too much shit wrong with me. And I was
sorry.
honey, I'm none of the therapists are healthy. The good ones, they're not. The good ones do not join therapy school because they're happy. They do it because they are the way I do it is because I was in pain and I want to be that person that I needed when I was younger. So I think it's just something that we say that we're talking about it, but there's still so much going wrong. And I want to add myself to that, especially because I do have I'm getting the education background. Eventually I do want my doctorate in psychology. So I think it's important that everyone talks from experience, but then there's also people who are educated in the field also in that space, if that makes sense. I don't want it to come across as me devaluing, because it's everybody's experience is valid and it all matters to the conversation. But then I think we also need people who are actually involved in the space of because I see so many people online talking about how horrible their therapists were. And I'm like, you're right, they were horrible, but don't denounce all therapy professionals just
Mm-hmm.
because of that one bad experience. Because I've had
Exactly.
horrendous therapists.
I have not. Okay, so
Terrible.
it's something that's on my list. It is to get a therapist. I have not done that yet. It is on my list of things that I do need to do, and I had have had conversations with other people about therapists and their
Mm-hmm.
experiences with them. And one of the things is I was always scared to go to one because of that, because you hear people and their bad experiences, and and everything else that I've heard from other people was like, if you don't like your therapist, don't go to them anymore. You
Right.
have that
Just switch
capability to
therapists.
switch
Don't pay
therapists,
them.
right? and
Yeah.
and and it's not something that you immediately get told, that if you don't like this person, don't go to them again. And
Right.
it's something that I've told somebody else before, is if that therapist was bad, obviously, so maybe you should try a different one. And they're like, I don't know, I never really thought about that. I was like,
And you're like, what? If you have a bad, it's the same thing as physical health.
mhm,
If you have a doctor who doesn't know what the hell he's saying, or
mhm,
he's rude to you, or he is, you know, dismissive of you and your feelings, switch doctors.
mhm,
Because, and I think, luckily, I say this luckily, because I think there's also a lot of bad conversation about like our generation and below us.
mhm.
I don't know where I fit because I'm in that weird like gap
Yeah,
of
you're in
millennial,
the
like
in
that
between.
5 year gap that no one knows where we go.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of put
but
myself in there. I'm at the very edge of that and millennial, and my sister is in
yeah,
that gap as well. And so, like, both of us have conversations about this all the time.
and I'm like, I kind of fit in, but I don't know. But the one thing I really like that's going on right now is, people in our generation are becoming therapists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that every generation there's a gap between them. But something that like I'm doing in school right now is I was taking a class that was focused on cultural diversity counseling and how to be respectful of other people's cultures. This class was never taught at my university prior to like last year.
Jeez.
Like there were a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that were not taught, and it's like we have to be thankful because we wouldn't be where we are now without the bad ones.
Right.
But at the same time, it makes me so like I learned about, statistics on how many therapists like sleep with their clients. And it's exorbitantly higher than it should be.
Oh
It should
no.
be it should be none. It should be zero.
It should be none.
That is the first rule we learn is don't kiss your client, please. Um but, so I'm happy that it's changing, but yeah, I mean it's so hard because especially when you're struggling, like the last thing you want to do is have to go find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only speak on my experiences. Like I went to therapy right after the 2016 election because I had a big blow up at my house and I ended up being kicked out of the house for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And the therapist was very openly against my belief system and how I voted, which like it's one of the rules as a therapist. You cannot disclose your personal, like you still have to empathize with the client no matter
Mm-hmm.
if you agree with their political views. And it was very clear right away that she was like, you're overreacting. You need to apologize. You're being a baby. And I never
Oh.
wanted to go back. And then I found my current therapist like 3 months after that. And like she saved my life without a doubt. We play Animal
Jeez.
Crossing together sometimes during sessions, but that's now that we're have been together a long time and I've dealt with most of my stuff. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, you have to treat it like any other doctor or a dentist. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't like them, go to another one. You don't like your
Mm-hmm.
hairdresser, go find another one.
Right.
They exist.
It
They're not all the
exactly.
same.
And you
Yeah.
can't group them all together either.
No.
Going back to something that you said at the beginning,
Yeah.
uh, mo- when you were saying with therapists, most of the really good ones have something, wrong with them. And one of those things that I have been told was when you are in your first session with a therapist, one of the questions you should ask is, who's your therapist?
Yes.
That way you know that
I
they're going to therapy as well. That way you know that, because I mean, you're hearing in other people's problems and their everything that's happening to them, and then you have to kind of do the same thing. Everyone should really have a therapist, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't have one.
You have to go up the tree and find the great great grand therapist who's at the
Yes.
top.
Yes.
But it's true. Like, it's, I think something that happens, and this is just, my own view on therapy. Everyone has different theories and
Mhm.
different beliefs, and that's why no two therapists are the same.
Mhm.
But something that I try really hard, and as I'm moving towards like my internships, is I like to show that I'm a human being and that
Mhm.
I'm not this like amazing, stable overlord who's never had a problem in her life. I like to make it very clear, like, no, I have also, like, in obviously in a way of empathy, but like,
Mhm.
no, I've also struggled with these things
Mhm.
and I'm still successful in this career. Because I think that there's also that like power dynamic between the
Mhm.
therapist and the client, where the client's like, you're never going to get it. And sometimes you're right, we haven't lived the same life, but it's important that, as both the client and the therapist, like, you're both taking in some feelings, you need to address them. So yeah, I mean, when you go to a therapist, like, ask them, have you been to therapy before? Because sometimes they're in between
Right. Right.
therapists. I've been in between sometimes, but
Right.
yeah.
It's just it's definitely something that I think that should be said a lot. Now
Mhm.
with mental health, sorry, mental health and
Okay.
Twitch, something that
Yes.
I've been doing myself, has been making sure that I let people know, especially during stream, that I'm not I'm not doing so well. Like, I'm good and I can stream enough, but I'm not doing so hot, and it's nice to be around other people right now. So, and I try to let my chat know that. I let my community know that I'm here, but if you see me like kind of zoning, I'm going into a space here and I'm going to probably come back in like 5 seconds flat, but it's, I'm not tired. I'm just
It's
having a
just a day.
moment. I'm having a moment.
Yeah. And I think it's so wonderful that you do share that. I
Mhm.
also do, because it normalizes it.
Mhm.
It bringing into the conversation, like, hey, because I don't know if people view, I don't know, like, where that point changes from the streamer being seen as a person to like
Mhm.
the streamer being seen as an entertainer.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, I will say, like, look, I've had a really stressful day. I really want to be here and I want to enjoy this. Sometimes I'll have to say, because sometimes, like, we all joke around, and some days I take things a little more personally than I normally do.
Mhm.
So I think it's really important to have that open communication, because otherwise, like, people notice
Mhm.
when you're not 100%, especially if they're people who are in your stream a lot.
Mhm.
And I've had people like DM me during stream when I didn't say anything, and I'm like, God damn it, they can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can read it.
Uh-huh.
But like, I think it's just normalizing it. It's the same way of going on. If I want it to be seen as the same as you starting stream going, hey, I have a headache.
Mhm.
So like, if I'm a little delayed, that's why. Like, I want that to be seen the same way as, I'm anxious as hell right now, but
Mhm.
hopefully it goes away soon. And I'm
Mhm.
waiting for that like shift.
Right. And for, like I said, with Twitch, and the people that I watch, they're kind of the same general thing. They're like, I'm not doing so hot. I'm not gonna stream today. Like, that's totally
Right.
valid. And like, sometimes people are scared about doing that because of like numbers, and sometimes people are scared of doing that because they're like, oh, then they don't see me as me. They just see me as somebody that's not doing so hot. But like, I just feel like
Right.
that's not not a way to look at it, because then people aren't really, what's the word, they're not like really showing everybody else that they can be not okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Yes. And I love that that's getting so normalized now, but it's also like, by doing that, you're opening yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes for criticism, but
Mm-hmm.
also for so much support, because I think that people, at least myself, I see so much strength in that, like being able to recognize in yourself and like be self-aware to say, yo, something's up. I don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm not feeling too great. Like that right there shows me that you are someone who's aware of your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind to yourself because you're caring about where you stand, and like you're comfortable with your community. Versus I see people who, stream all of the time, all day, every day, and they never share like any feeling that they're feeling other
Mm-hmm.
than like hype.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's no way that you're a human being
There's no way you're hyped all the time like that.
all the time. But then also, kids and teens really like that kind of content.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I think our generation is a little more like, nah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want kids. I'm not gonna be entertaining on Minecraft.
No.
I'm gonna be digging a hole to capture a villager while I tell you about how much I hate school right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't be hyped. I'm not a hype. I'm a chill person. I
Yeah.
can't do it. I
And
just
I
can't.
think I feel like that's more me too. Because, like, I wanted to be hype for a while there. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to be hype. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. It's just
No.
too much energy, man. I can't do that. It's too much energy, too much I don't know, activity.
if you
I'm
wanted to
lazy.
stream for if you wanted a half-hour stream, I could do it.
Right, right. Like, I
You
can
wanted
do it.
6? No,
Hmm.
not happening.
I remember I did a part Just Dance stream one
Hmm.
time. And I did a part of it, and I used to be able to. And this was also, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, me, I would be able to play Just Dance for 6 hours. Today, me can play Just Dance for 3 songs, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out of breath. Okay, I'm good.
There's nothing cute about me doing that. There's not. It's just not me. I'm sorry.
Right. It's just not gonna happen anymore. And,
No.
like, I could still do it. It's just, and that's kind of the activity I feel like it is with a hype stream, is like me playing the three songs on Just Dance and being out of breath. It would be the same exact thing. I could only go for so long before I'm just like, I'm good.
Well, and like I don't know if you get this too. I know I do sometimes. I always get like stream drop, not every time, but I compare it to my goodness, I'm trying to keep this on task. I promise it is. I compare it a lot to like in the kink community, there is a term known as sub drop,
Mm-hmm.
which is after a intimate activity, or we'll say activity. Sometimes because your energy level and your adrenaline is so high,
Mm-hmm.
directly afterwards you can really drop down to like almost a depressed feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important in that the partner you're with is there with you, supports you, and like does whatever you need. So like drink juice or like eat something, cuddle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I get stream drop pretty frequently when it's a really good stream,
Mm-hmm.
which is really strange to me because if I end a stream and I didn't feel that great about it, I'm usually okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a really good stream, I feel like shit afterwards. And I'm like, so if I was hype all the time, I would never stream again because my energy level would go down. I would die. I would go to undead immediately after that.
You'd be like, okay, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm done with everything. Never again.
But
Damn. Yeah.
And I have respect for people who can do it. It's
Oh,
just
yeah, for
not
sure.
something I can do.
Yeah, other people, like, go for it. If you can do it, like, for sure, be that hype person. We're just not the hype person that you can be, because
Right.
we are very chill, cozy vibes people, and that is what we do.
Yeah. I can't. I just can't do it.
No.
It's not me. No.
All right, so we're gonna switch on over to the question portion. I'll go ahead and start reading off some of the questions. If you're in the Twitch chat right now, you could go ahead and do the channel points. It's only 10 channel points, so it's very, very little. Go into the channel points, click that little button there, and you can ask a question. There can be up to 10 questions, and I know we have a few. Let me just pull it up.
I'm so nervous. What if I don't know the answer to one of them?
Oh my gosh, where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay. First question is from Andrew Adventures. It says, what are some of your favorite games on the 3DS? Also, Batty, we have the same 3DS.
Fun. I hope you have the Japanese one too. So I'm gonna sound really lame for a minute because when I had my 3DS, I lived at home. As I mentioned, my mom mostly was not super supportive of video games. That's kind of changed as I've gotten older, but I wasn't allowed to play a lot of games that I wanted to play. I will say this was on the regular DS, which I'm not sure if it counts, but like that Guitar Hero game where you slid
Oh my god.
the buttons into the Game Boy cartridge reader. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. That was the shit.
I wanted
And I'm
it so
so
bad.
mad that you can't play it on 3DS.
Because they don't have the Game
Because
Boy part.
Because I would. It was a good game. What else? I liked Animal Crossing, of course. Tomodachi Life, bring it to Switch. I want it
I'm
so
honestly
bad.
surprised they didn't.
It's coming soon. Miitopia, isn't it?
Yeah, oh
Or
yeah, they
something?
did Miitopia. They did a different yeah, because it was supposed to be, because Miitopia was on a different console, and
I
I
think it
can't
was on
remember.
Wii.
I think so too. It was either Wii or Wii U.
Yeah, one of those.
But then they brought it over onto this one. Yeah, for sure.
And then this is the embarrassing one. I was really obsessed with for a long time. Again, I love those task games. I loved the Imagine series of like Imagine Chef, Imagine
I know exactly
Babysitter,
what you're saying.
Imagine like Zookeeper, and I was like,
Yes.
yes. I love them. And I know that that's not like a super fun, like Zelda. No, Imagine Babysitter was the shit.
I love it.
And I still have it somewhere.
My
And 3D World also,
course.
Mario 3D
Of
World. I
course.
forgot about that. I just bought it on Switch and I forgot about it. Oops.
For 3DS games, I would say for myself is just because I mean, it's the same for the DS because you were able to bring the DS games to the 3DS. So that's how I would think that it would work for you, except for the Guitar Hero. But it's still a DS game. It
Heartbreaking.
works.
Yes, I missed it.
Wild World for me, and then Nintendogs.
Yes. Oh, I forgot Nintendogs.
I love Nintendogs so much. I love just, sitting on the living room couch, just sitting there and screaming at my dog because I wanted it to sit. And I'm trying to get it to do this obedience training, and I'm just screaming at my 3DS, and my mom's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "No, this damn dog won't sit." Yeah.
Because the microphone, you had to like, and they came up with like one similar to Switch called Little Friends. It sucks.
I heard.
It's not good.
I didn't get it. I'm glad I didn't get it.
It's not good. Also, there was a hamster game I had that was the same because I couldn't have pets either. My parents were very strict, so I would get like the games that were, either working a human job like when I was a kid, or a human job. What is that? Or like I had the monkey game on Wii, and I had the hamster game on DS. And like my friends had the hamsters, and we could take them to meet each other, and they would bring each other little like sunflower seeds. It was very cute.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
That was fun. I like that. I forgot. I have a collection of. I go to GameStop and I buy them out on their clearance Nintendo DS games. Yes. And they had a bunch of Hello Kitty ones for like $1.99. I was like, sick. Can't wait.
I love it. So Vivi Bambi asked, what got you into Celeste? What is your favorite level?
Oh, so my last relationship before this one, we dated for like 5 years. It was a very long relationship. And him and his friends used to play Celeste together. So I didn't play it until 2018. I think it came out in 17. I played it a year after it came out. So either 17 to 18 or 18 to 19. And we used to sit in his living room and just watch my friend Matt play this game for hours. like weeks, every weekend, just watch him. And I was like, I think I've watched enough of this that I could probably play it. And I hadn't seen any of the cutscenes prior because he was, now I know as, trying to speedrun it or trying to learn it. So I never saw any of the cutscenes. And I talked to him about it one day, and he's like, it's actually like really beautiful of a game. Like the music's fantastic, the cutscenes are wonderful. So I was like, I'll try it. You know, it's $20. I think he bought it for me, or someone, I don't think I paid for it. Someone gave it to me. And I cried my little eyes out the first time I played it. And I have played it for probably more than 1,000 hours by now, which is crazy because it's a game that's like not that long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I play it now and I can play the whole game minus like the last chapter, like all just like the basic chapters in like 44 minutes. And I'm like, how on earth did you put that many hours into this game? Favorite chapter, I would say, I also have a tattoo of it in
Oh,
case
I love
anyone's
it.
curious. It says you can do this. It's from chapter 4. There's a scene, this isn't a spoiler, but there's a scene where they're on this gondola and the main character, Madeline, starts having a panic attack because the gondola freezes in between the start and the next stop. So they're hanging like in midair.
Mm-hmm.
And Theo, who's with her, is like, hey, you know, someone taught me this trick that if you picture a feather floating in the air and you match it with your breath, it can calm you down. So there's this little mini game where you have to match the border around the feather.
Oh, that's cool.
And your girl's a nervous being, so I really felt that because I really got along with the character, and I really like how beautiful it is. Again, I won't give spoilers, but like you get to fight your anxiety like as a person and like come together, and it's a very beautiful game. I highly recommend it. I hate platformers, and it's my favorite game. So even though it's a platformer, favorite chapter, I would say either 5 with the Seekers and the eyeballs, just because of the music. I hate Theo in that chapter. I want to throw him off the cliff every time I pick him up. Because it's just irritating to have to carry someone the whole time you're fighting something.
Oh God.
The music's incredible. The piano music, Lena Rain, I think is her name, did it. Or honestly, chapter 3, which is everyone's least favorite chapter, because Oshiro, I think, is just such a little bean, and like you hurt his feelings, and that's why he attacks you, and everyone hates him. And I'm like, you called him an idiot. Like, it's your fault. He's just trying to be his own little self and run his little hotel in peace, and you told him he's lame. I understand why he's mad.
Celeste is one of those games that I tried, but I very little tried. You know what I mean? Like I tried and I was not in a good headspace to play it because I immediately just rage quitted and closed the game and said, nope, not today. So I have it on both Switch and on my PC, so I will at some point probably revisit it when I'm in a better headspace to play it.
Yeah, you really have to be. Like it's once you're in it, it's okay because like the deaths are so fast. You don't really like I probably have, I think I just hit like 30,000 deaths on my main file right now. And it's insane. But because it's so quick, like you really have to be in the headspace for it. And it's beautiful and you feel so good when you're done, and like that's part of the reason why I speed run it a little bit. I don't do it competitively. Like I don't watch tutorials on how to do it better or more efficiently. I just kind of figure it out. But it feels so good when I'm like, I got 10 seconds off. This is so cool. And then everyone's like, you're like 20 minutes away from the world record, by the way. And I'm like, I don't care. It's fine. I'm beating myself. Let me beat myself.
Okay, so Shiny Wave says, who is your top video game crush besides Claude?
Besides Claude, I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, like the only games I have ever just felt love, I'm gonna change it from crush. No, I'll answer this and then I'll slightly change it because there's something in Animal Crossing. I don't want that to be creepy. Fire Emblem, I mean, every female on that game except for Leonie. She could disappear and I'd be cool with it. Like Petra, Shiny knows. best girl. But like in terms of loving a character for everything they stand for, dude, Olive on Animal Crossing. We all know she is the most precious little being I have ever witnessed. She just drinks her cup of tea and knits, and she sits in the flowers and she reads her books. And I've never been obsessed with a tiny creature so much in my life. I know that's not like a crush, but
It's still like it's a love. It's just a
I
different type
love
of
her
love. Yes.
so much. It hurts me. It's the same with Claude. Like I would put the game down and go, I wonder what he's doing right now. Like I need to spend time with him. And then I cry my eyes out when it's over because I'm like, it's done.
I love that. That's so cute. Banana, but yep, I can speak words. Banana Rose asked, "What is a game that changed the way you think about something, or that taught you a lesson you feel was important? I know it's a complex one. Skip if it makes you uncomfortable."
Oh no, I'll answer anything. Come on now. Um, I'm gonna slightly change the question to like what type of game for my answer's sake because I don't want to just say Celeste again. So I will switch it. Any game that's like I'm thinking of Celeste and Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, which I don't know if you've played Getting Over It, but it really like I'm someone who's a huge perfectionist, as I mentioned before. I'm a very type A personality. Um, excuse me. I'm a very type A personality, and when I can't do something, sometimes it very much, makes me feel like I am a bad person because I can't figure it out, or like I'm stupid because I can't do it, especially like in the academic space. So playing games like Celeste or like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, which if you guys don't know, you're a guy in a cauldron with a hammer and you have to try to get up a mountain and the only control you have is like controlling the hammer, and one wrong move and you are shot from the top all the way down to the bottom and you have to start again.
I've
And
seen
it is
gameplay of that.
it is so frustrating and just aggravating. But I think over time of playing them both, my opinion has changed slightly to I'm not there yet, but beginning to understand the concept of growth when you fail. And like looking at with Celeste, looking at gameplay from when I was playing it and it took me an hour and 20 minutes and I couldn't get past these rooms to now I have them memorized and I'm like flying through them. And I remember playing them and thinking, this is not possible. There is no chance I can do this. And eventually getting it. So I think that is slowly starting the wheels turning of me being like that in the rest of my life. I'm still kind of hard on myself, but like I'm learning to recognize that like nobody figured out anything right the first time. Like even down to game creation. Like nobody made a game from point A to point B and it was 100% perfect and it was a great game. It never happened.
Right.
So like learning that you have to fail like 900 times. Or in my case of Celeste, 30,000 times before you get it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. That's a good concept. I I feel like I don't really have an answer for this one. I also don't have an answer for the last question for the crush one because I never really like had crushes on any character that because I was playing. I mean, most people would say like Zelda or something, or Link, and I didn't have that. I watched more TV than I played video games, so I have like TV crushes.
Yeah, me too.
Like I was absolutely in love with Zuko, like from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was in love with him, and from the House of Night series, my friends and I, we were in love with James Stark, and he's always in my heart. So like I have other
Yeah.
ones. I have like video game ones. I just don't have video game crushes. Now a game that changed the way that I think about something. I mean, I guess I would have to say with Animal Crossing, Katrina. She says
Oh,
the
shio ta ta ta.
yes, just those words right there.
Oh, shio ta ta.
Katrina says when what was it? I can't think of it at the exact moment. The
Is it the one about bad times? Like
yeah,
bad
remember that
times
bad
or
times are just times that are bad.
yeah.
And that saying, I'm still planning it. I want that saying as a tattoo on my forearm, along with moon phases, and that's something that I've been wanting for like the last, I don't know, 4 years, and I just haven't gotten to do it yet. So
Miss Tattoo Gang.
I have two tattoos. I just haven't gotten the because I want it on my complete forearm. I want it like all of the moon phases at the top, and then at the bottom have the saying, so it's like this way, so I can see it and I can show it
Right.
off to people this way, because I think it's something that I need to look at more often than showing it off to somebody. Um,
That's why
so
my text is to me and
yeah,
not backwards, because I need to be the
exactly.
one who sees it. Yeah,
And I
exactly.
love that so much because like a lot of times people will have tattoos and they're like they want to show it off to somebody. I want it for myself, which is
Hmm.
actually funny because my last tattoo is behind my ear and I can't see it, and I forget which side it's on. Like every time like I
Amazing.
have to think about it. I'm like, okay, my star tattoo is on this calf, so my tattoo of the cat is behind my ear. It's this one. Like I have to
Yep.
think about it, and it's always funny to me. But yeah, it's something that I want. I want my tattoo to be facing me because it's something that I always, when I was younger, I didn't quite understand it. But in the last, I don't know, like 8 or so years of my life, I've been looking at that saying and like remembering that. Like, remember, it's just a day. It's gonna be better tomorrow, or it could be even worse tomorrow. We don't even fucking know at this point. It's just a
We
fucking
don't.
day. Like, we'll see how it, is the next day.
I think with that saying too, there's like, at least for me, I don't know if this is with other people, I see it as like I'm somebody who gets stuck thinking about the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, look, it's done. The
Mm-hmm.
time was bad and it was bad and it's closed and the book is shut and you can't rewrite it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just a bad time.
It's over now.
You're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nanosphere 5 asks, what is the purpose of the Large Hadron Collider and its functions?
The
I'm
what?
I That's a great question because I do not know what the purpose of the I hadron
Hadron?
hadron
Is it a
collider.
gaming thing?
I am not sure. I thought this was an inside joke.
Oh no.
Particle smashing, I think. I you
It
know,
has a purpose and it does its job. That's all I
yep,
got.
there we
I don't
go.
know.
Great question. Samuel D. Music asks, Ash, are you going to do the color dungeon in Link's Awakening? Also, we have the same birthday.
Sam with the color done. If you tell me where it is, I'll do it. You just gotta get me there. Because that's what Jake was saying. He's like, you didn't do the fun dungeon yet. And I'm like, was there a hint to it? No. Did anyone tell me to go there? No. Then how was I supposed to find it? Also, yes, Sam, myself, and Banana all have the exact same birthday.
Oh my god.
We're all a bunch of cancerous
Oh,
crabs.
I was just going to say that. I was like, y'all cancer crabs. I love it. Which is funny because I was gonna ask because I was gonna ask you what your birthday was, and then I remembered that you and Banana had the same birthday because you guys had a stream on the same day or same
Day, yeah. Or like
weekend.
I did Saturday, they did Sunday. I'm not
I
sure.
can't remember, but I made sure I was in both of them at one point because I was like I have to be here.
It's birthday.
Um,
Well, that's what with Sam too. I'm like, wait, but you're my mod and I'm your mod. How do we do this?
You know what's funny is that with me, because my birthday's in October, and there's
Yeah.
not as many October babies as I thought there would be. Like I know quite a few people with the October birthday, but not around the same date as me. Like, because mine's October 11th.
Okay.
And I've literally only found two people. And I look at a lot of IDs because I'm a cashier. So
Yeah.
I look at a
Oh,
lot of
yep.
IDs. I've seen people's birthdays like before or after mine, like literally days within, but I've
Mhm.
never seen someone with October 11th except for like one person at my school.
It's it's funny because so my birthday is July 17th,
Hmm.
and then my mom's birthday is July 18th, and then my aunt's birthday is July 19th. And
Oh,
it's
jeez.
creepy. But then whenever I don't get my mom a present, I can make the joke of like, well, I was your gift. Here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am. You're welcome, mother. But
Actually, your birthday is also the day of my wedding anniversary as well.
really?
Yeah.
Love it. It's such a good day. I
It is. It's a
mean,
great. It's like
all these
literally smack dab in the middle. Like
yeah,
great.
I try to think back to like what month was it 9 months before my birthday?
Yeah.
Because like I'm telling you right now, I feel so bad for people who are born in the month of December because I feel like they don't get anything.
Yeah.
Because I know people who are born on like Christmas
Mhm.
and they get their birthday and they're like, it's time for Jesus. I'm like, no, it is your son's birthday. Don't make him go if he doesn't want to go.
Oh yeah, Banana Rose just reminded me that the other thing is in Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan, their birthday is also October 11th. So
Oh,
so when I was a
yes.
kid and I saw that, I like freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, they have the same birthday as me." And yeah,
You're like, how? I know the Harry Potter movies, a bunch of them came out on July 17th, and then they switched to November at
Oh
some point.
yeah.
And I was like, it was my birthday present, like every year, and then they switched it.
The Twilight movies came out during my now my sister-in-law, but at the time she was one of my friends. In high school, we would go for her birthday every year to all the Twilight movies.
So good.
The good days.
So good. I went to one of those premieres, and my friend and I were like, let's dress up like we're going to a wedding because it was the one with the wedding in it. And we looked like damn fools
I
because
love
we were the
it.
only ones at
I
like the midnight premiere. I'm
I
like,
went to
this is a
the
joke.
I went to the midnight premiere for Breaking Dawn Part 2, and
Yeah.
my it was for her birthday, so it was a bunch of us girls, and we all had white shirts, and we changed it, like we drew on them and said team whatever, Edward or Jacob and everything, and I was always team Jacob because I just loved to
Of
look at
who was
him.
Team Edward?
I God, there was like two girls in there that
Yeah.
was Team Edward, and I was just like,
Oh,
"Excuse you," but I would much rather look at Jacob at this point than.
yeah. I'd rather look at Taylor Lautner any day of the
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That was a
honestly,
sidetrack.
yeah, it's fine. That was a weird movie.
It was.
I watch
Um,
it sometimes when I'm bored, but
I haven't watched it in a while. It's something that I do need to rewatch again. I don't want to reread it, but I do want to rewatch it.
yeah. I like bananas. Okay, but Team Alice, and I agree with you. Or Team
True.
Kristen, honestly. Just
Right.
like Kristen Stewart.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Like now that we're older and everything, and like we re-look back at it, yeah, for sure.
Like women, you
Yep,
know.
just women. um, VBB says, or asks, besides Celeste, what game got you through stressful times the most?
All right. This is gonna be another silly one. Um, I mean, I'll say too, like easy answer Stardew, of course. I think that a lot of people, you know, when they need to de-stress, play it. But the one game, and I don't know what it is about it that I just love so much when I'm stressed out. It always happens around like finals time in the winter. I always crack it out again. Is Toontown online?
Oh my
And
god.
the listen, the original, excuse me, The original Toontown no longer exists
Mhm.
because Disney hates fun and they closed down Toontown, they closed down Club Penguin and all the other ones.
Mhm.
But similarly to yeah, I know Allie plays it still. Similarly to, Club Penguin got re-uploaded,
Yeah, yeah.
somebody from Toontown re-uploaded everything and just took out the Disney characters walking around. So
Uh-huh.
like Disney doesn't have a problem with it anymore. And
That's
now it's free. It used to cost like $20 a month when I was a kid, and I could never afford it. So
Oh, you know
now,
what? I remember that.
it was expensive. And
I think
now
I got my grandma
I
to
just,
buy that.
it's so good. I was so obsessed with this game when I was a kid. Like,
Mhm.
when you had baby teeth
Mhm.
and you were sleeping and like you'd wake up and a tooth would be gone, but
Yeah.
like your tooth is not anywhere, you swallowed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's gross, but like I would do that playing these games because I'd be so focused I would not recognize that there was a tooth in my mouth. And I would go to the bathroom and be like, "Mom, my gum is bleeding." And she's like, "Where's your tooth?"
And you're like,
And I was like, "I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know." But it's so good. The only issue, it's fun now. I'm on a Facebook group for people who play Toontown,
Mhm.
adults. And I kid you not, like 80% of this Facebook group is like 55 and older.
I love that.
And it's so good because they organize these like daily events of like we do doodle training on Tuesdays and we do all these, so like there's a group of people to play with, which is really fun. But then there's also like it's mostly adults. The shitty kids are kind of gone now
Yeah.
because it's not, something that they enjoy, but it's just so good. And it's fun and it's like very easy. There are a couple bad people in there, but it's a good multiplayer game that you can
Mhm.
play with strangers and like not have to worry about getting screamed at because you can't type most of the words you want to say anyway.
Right, right. I
Like
think
I
I've
got
seen other
sorry,
people
go ahead.
play. I've seen other people play Toontown online. I haven't like thought to actually play it.
It's so good. And like I make Jake play with me now.
Mhm.
Because there are certain things that like when you're leveling up, you can't do anything by
Mhm.
yourself. You're too weak. Now I'm like I could take down building. Like I don't and I help people. Like I find little like younger toons who only have like 20 health. I'm like, "Do you need help?" And I'm
Mhm.
like 120, like, "Hello. Do you need help, good sir?" Um but any of those like online, I saw Banana post like Wizard 101, same
Mhm.
shit. So good.
Mhm.
You have to pay for that still, I think, and I refuse.
For Wizard 101, I think you can start out free, but I think there's like
Once
in-game
you get to a
purchases.
point, you
Yeah.
can't. This
Yeah.
street is only for members, and I'm like, that's stupid. I can't get down there. So
Yeah. Don't I never really thought about Toontown. I love that so much though. I'll have to look into it more so. There we go. Wow. I'm getting to that point where words are just not a thing anymore.
no, I get you. It's because there are sorry, there's a siren going past my house. There's like a select group of people who take it really seriously, and they're
Mhm.
like they call you it like in tune words. They can't say you're a damn idiot, but like in you're a not very nice dummy or like however they get around it. Who take it very seriously, and like if you don't hit the right thing, they get mad at you and they'll like let your tune die, but you don't
What?
really die, you just get sad. It's very cute. It's very like the evil businessmen are coming to destroy the fun of Toontown, so we play pranks on them and it makes them explode. Like it's a
Mhm.
very fun, lighthearted game. And then they have like mini golf, and I just fuck with mini golf. So that's all I've been doing is just playing like
Let's just
fishing
play
and mini golfing.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Um I'm I'm trying to think of a game that has gotten me through stressful times, and all I can think of is just Animal Crossing and
Yeah.
Stardew, because they're just so relaxing games and you can literally do whatever you want in those games. I mean, even with Stardew, it seems like really with Stardew, people get very anxious over the timing of it because you have to get everything done before 2 a.m. or you pass out and you have to pay the money. Um, I just kind of do whatever I want, and then I just make sure, like, even if I do pass out, I really don't
Who
care.
cares?
I don't
Who cares?
care. Oh
You lose
no, I
something,
passed out,
pay.
and now I have to pay 500 gold. Like, I don't care.
But how much money did you earn by staying up
Exactly.
till 2 a.m.? Like it's
I
I
mean,
used to get really panicky about
yeah.
it and like the community bundles.
Hmm.
I used to get really panicked. And now I just sit there and like chop wood. I like doing mindless things when I'm stressed.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft, I do things for my friends where they say, I'm building this thing. I need 700 stone. And I'm like, girl, I got you. Give me 2 hours.
I
And I
love
just
it.
listen to Netflix and I just pick away.
Nice. Yeah, it was started. It was kind of like community bundles. My first playthrough, it took me till year 3 to actually finish the community bundles because
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. I had never seen any gameplay of it when I first played, so like it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun to mess around with that and just I didn't know what I was doing, but it was
Oh,
nice to
nobody
just kind
does.
of mindlessly play the game and then get into the wiki for Stardew and then just kind of mindlessly, make a journal of it and
Yep.
that's just kind of, you just kind of get yourself right in there. Um
Yeah.
VBB asks, what is your proudest gaming moment?
Can I say Journey to the Prairie King? Like,
That is a flex, honestly.
listen,
That game, I can't pass the first level right now, so
I can tell you right now, because I'm going to pull it up while I talk about it for a second. I can tell you because you get a badge for doing it. And I can tell you right now, where is it? Activity. I got it. I got the badge. And it says, now I can't see it. Oh my gosh. Well, let me just say while I scroll so I don't have too much dead space in here. That, like, any game, obviously Celeste is like the number one because that was without a doubt, the hardest game I've ever played
hmm.
was Celeste. That was the hardest game I've ever played. So just me being someone who I never really considered myself to be a gamer.
Hmm.
I never really thought that I fit that, stereotypical boy,
Hmm.
lifestyle.
Right, right.
Um, so the fact that that was such a hard game that people were really invested in was huge. And then I just found it. Beating Journey to the Prairie King, like, I don't know how many people own this game on Steam, but 1.4% of us have this achievement.
Yes.
I am so proud of that.
That's awesome.
And
And
then
you're
when you
one of
finish it,
them.
I know. And then when you finish it, it's like you thought you finished it, try again, and they make it harder. And I'm like, don't you tell me I got to beat this again because I can't. And then they give you, as the prize for beating it, you get a copy of Journey to the Prairie King's arcade machine that you can put in your house and you can play whenever you want, which means I just play it more. But
You're like, well,
definitely that.
shit, here I am playing yet
Well,
again. um, I don't even know if I have a proudest gaming moment. I don't, oh God, maybe, nope. I
that's
don't,
the only one I could think of was
I don't
Journey.
have anything,
That's it.
yeah.
I mean, did you ever get like a 5-star island on Animal Crossing? Because I've never.
Uh, yes, and it was because I just was trying to empty my pockets.
Bless you.
Bless you. I was just trying to empty my pockets, and then someone's like, "Oh, what's your stars on your island?" I was like, "Sure, let me go check." And then it said that I had 5 stars. I was like, "Oh, I was just emptying out my pockets."
Yep.
Yeah, and then somebody said that I had 5 stars on my island earlier, and I don't think I did because of I was like, no, no, no. They're like, no, but you have the lily of the valley. I'm like, yeah, I think that was from my last island.
I just like brought it.
I brought it over. I'm not complete. I don't remember where I put them, so maybe I don't. Not sure.
Yeah. I got you.
But that is. Sorry. There we go. Okay. That is the end of the question answer. I do want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast with me. I really appreciate it. It was very nice, like being able to talk to you and like with the mental health and having kind of the same viewpoints, especially because like where you're going with it, you're having that education on it and everything. So it's really cool to see the differences in it and all that.
Thanks for having me. This is like so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah. So the next guest is going to be A Rock 75. Some of you guys know him from not just my community, but from multiple other communities. Um, so it's going to be really fun to talk with them about their journey and how they've gotten through everything. I'm really excited to talk to them. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a time, and that's going to be on April 10th. Yes, April 10th. Again, I appreciate you for being on here for answering my message when I was like, "Hey, you wanna be a part of
Yes.
this?" Like,
I was like, I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to overstep. So I was like, I'll just sit and wait.
I'm like, and I tell this to everybody. Like, I have a list of the people that I do want to talk to at some point, and it's like it's so nerve wracking for myself to message these people because I'm like,
Yeah.
some of these people I'm like, do they want to be a part of it? Like, I don't know. Like, it's so nerve-wracking to like think that maybe this person will, and I'm okay with someone saying no. Like, if someone
Right.
told me no, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's just fine, I totally understand, like I get it. It's just the whole like just doing it in general is just kind of scary, and
Yeah.
that is something I've been getting over. So I'm excited for the next bits that are coming up. And yeah, so I appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Bye.